What is a classic? Is it merely a book that has endured, surviving the erosion of time? Or is it something more? Something eternal, something woven into the very fabric of human thought? Classic literature is not merely a collection of words bound in leather and ink. It is the echo of our deepest desires, our tragedies, our triumphs, and our unrelenting search for meaning. These are the stories that have shaped civilizations, that have whispered to the hearts of kings and commoners alike. They are the shadows that stretch across centuries, illuminating the path of human consciousness. Through them, we meet the dreamers and the doomed, the seekers of truth and the architects of deception, the warriors of justice and the poets of despair. Dostoevsky plunges us into the abyss of guilt and redemption. Shakespeare teaches us that fate and free will are forever at war. Dumas reminds us that vengeance and justice are mirrors of the same face. Tolstoy reveals that history is written not by leaders, but by the smallest moments of human choice. To read the classics is not to escape into the past. It is to confront the present with new eyes. Each book is a doorway, an invitation, a challenge, and so we begin. Welcome to the Digital Agora podcast, where we unravel the wisdom of the past to illuminate the world of today. Because the greatest stories are not just told, they are lived.
All right, so let's dive into this deep dive into the Count of Monte Cristo.
Okay.
But we're not just going to, do a plot summary or anything like that.
Right.
We're really going to go deeper.
Sure.
Explore the web of betrayal, the agony of imprisonment, and then ultimately wrestle with that question of, can true justice exist without forgiveness?
Yeah, I think what's really cool about this story and what makes it so compelling is that we go on Edmond Dantès' journey with him.
Yeah.
We see him go from this simple sailor on the brink of happiness to this man consumed by vengeance, and then ultimately to maybe something that resembles redemption.
Yeah, and it all starts with Dantès, right?
Right.
He's this skilled sailor, deeply in love, about to become captain.
Yeah.
Everything's falling into place.
He's got it all right.
He's engaged to the beautiful Mercedes. Life seems perfect, but
Yeah.
It's almost like that happiness is exactly what triggers his downfall.
Well, that's where Dumas is so clever, because he sets the stage by showing how Dantès' good fortune sparks envy in these other characters, right? So you've got Fernand, who desires Mercedes.
Yeah.
You've got Danglars, who's coveting Dantès' career advancement. And then you've got Villefort.
Oh, Villefort.
Villefort's an interesting case because he is driven by fear.
Right.
He's very worried that this letter that links his family to the Bonapartists might resurface.
So even though he knows Dantès is innocent, he sacrifices him to protect his own reputation.
Exactly.
Man, that's cold.
It's cold. It really highlights how fear can just warp even the most rational minds, twisting justice into something totally self-serving.
Yeah.
And the way that Dumas portrays the swiftness of Dantès' arrest, going from peak joy to the depths of despair in a single day.
Wow.
I mean, it's a gut punch.
Yeah, it makes you wonder how anyone could survive that kind of emotional whiplash.
Yeah.
Which brings us to Chateau d'If,
Yes.
where Dantès spends years in solitary confinement.
Right.
Talk about a bleak existence.
It's bleak. The initial hope of release slowly crumbles with each passing day. And you have to imagine the psychological torture of isolation, the crushing weight of knowing you've been unjustly condemned.
Right.
But even in this abyss of despair, a glimmer of light appears, Abbé Faria.
And he's more than just a fellow prisoner, right?
Right, he becomes a mentor, a teacher, almost a father figure to Dantès.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
He is instrumental in Dantès' transformation. He educates him, expands his knowledge in, languages and history, science, even fencing.
wow.
He provides this intellectual nourishment that Dantès was deprived of.
And then there's the treasure, too.
Ah, yes, the treasure.
And not just the, golden jewels on Monte Cristo, but the knowledge that becomes the foundation of Dantès' future.
Yes.
It gives him a purpose, a reason to cling to life.
And the lengths to which Dantès goes to preserve that knowledge, right?
Right.
I mean, he memorizes every detail of the treasure's location because he's afraid that the written account might be lost.
Yeah.
That speaks volumes about his resourcefulness. It's as if the injustice he suffered ignited a fire within him.
That's such a good point. You know, it's like imprisonment in this twisted way.
Yeah.
Unlocked his true potential.
Right.
But it wasn't just about, the intellect.
Right.
This transformation went deep,
Yeah.
Forging him into a vessel of vengeance.
Right. Remember he planned to escape with Abbé Faria?
Oh, yeah.
But Faria's paralysis shattered that hope.
Right.
And this loss further fuels Dante's rage and his sense of injustice.
So he escapes alone,
Yes.
emerging from the darkness as the
Right.
Count of Monte Cristo.
Yes, the Count of Monte Cristo.
The wealth, the sophistication,
Yeah.
the air of mystery. It's all a meticulously crafted facade.
It is, and let's not forget the calculated nature of his revenge.
Yeah.
It's not about brute force, it's about using each man's weakness against him.
Right.
He becomes a puppet master.
Yeah.
Pulling the strings, orchestrating their downfalls with chilling precision.
Like when he exposes Fernand's dishonorable past.
Yes.
His betrayal of Ali Pasha,
Right.
leading to his social ruin and Mercedes' despair.
Exactly.
Then there's Danglars, whose insatiable greed ultimately leads to financial collapse
Yeah.
and the disintegration of his family.
And Villefort, the irony of Villefort.
Villefort.
The supposed guardian of justice being brought down by the very system that he manipulated.
Yeah.
The Count reveals Villefort's darkest secrets, pushing him into a spiral of madness.
It's clear that the Count knows his enemies inside and out.
Oh, he does.
Like when he buys those dappled gray horses knowing that Danglars wanted them.
Right.
Or using Brucine poison, understanding its specific effects.
Yeah.
It's almost as if he's become this master strategist, studying his opponents before he makes his move.
But this is where things get complicated.
Okay.
Because as we witness these calculated acts of revenge, we have to ask, is this true justice, or is it purely driven by retribution?
That's a question that really lingers throughout the story,
It does.
especially when we see the collateral damage.
Yeah. Right.
Innocent lives are caught in the crossfire.
Yeah.
Blurring the line between right and wrong, between justice and cruelty.
Dumas doesn't shy away from showing us the full weight of the Count's actions.
Yeah.
Forcing us to confront this uncomfortable truth that vengeance often has unintended consequences.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, and speaking of consequences, I think there's another layer to the Count's journey.
Yep.
The theme of fate.
Oh, okay.
So is he merely an instrument of justice, or is there a larger force guiding his actions?
Yeah, like you mean like some grand design or some cosmic plan or something?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we see all these chance encounters and seemingly insignificant events that have this huge ripple effect throughout the story.
Yeah, for sure.
Think about the shipwreck that throws Dantes together with the smugglers.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that seems so random.
Yeah, totally.
Yet it leads him to the treasure and gives him the means to become the Count.
Yeah.
Or consider Villefort's decision to suppress that letter that could have saved Dantes.
Right.
One choice made out of ambition and fear alters the entire course of events.
Wow, it's like a chain reaction, but with this deeper meaning.
Right.
Like almost as if fate is equipping Dantes with the tools for his revenge.
Mm,
It makes you question the nature of free will.
right.
Does Dantes truly have control, or is he just a pawn in a game he doesn't fully understand?
That's the beauty of Dumas' writing.
Yeah.
He intertwines fate and free will in such a way that it makes us consider whether we're truly masters of our destiny or just players in this larger cosmic drama.
And then there's the wealth itself.
Ah, yes.
It's not just about, luxury for the Count.
Right.
It's about power, influence, the ability to reshape his world.
His wealth grants him access to the highest circles of society,
Yeah.
allowing him to manipulate events from behind the scenes.
Right.
Remember when he buys back the Pharaoh?
Oh, yeah. The ship he was meant to captain.
Exactly, or how he just casually purchases those coveted, dappled gray horses right from under Danglars' nose.
It's like those weren't just transactions. Those were power moves. He's almost like, putting it right in their face, like, look what I have achieved, what you helped to take away from me.
Exactly, he's demonstrating his dominance,
Right.
subtly reminding them of their past betrayals while simultaneously fueling their present desires.
Yeah.
I mean, Danglars, for example, he's so blinded by his greed that he just walks right into the Count's trap.
And Fernand, so obsessed with climbing that social ladder is ultimately brought down for the very sins he committed to get there.
It's true.
It's so fascinating how Dumas uses these characters to expose the corrosive effects of ambition and greed.
It's a cautionary tale for sure, but what's even more compelling is that even the Count, with all his wealth and power,
Right.
he isn't immune to these destructive forces.
So true.
His thirst for revenge nearly consumes him,
Yeah.
leading him down a path that threatens to destroy his soul.
Which brings us back to that central question, can he find redemption after all he's done?
All right.
I mean, is it even possible for someone who has inflicted so much pain to find peace?
That's the crux of the novel, right?
Yeah.
We see the Count wrestle with doubt and guilt as his plan unfolds.
Okay.
There are moments when he hesitates,
Yeah.
questioning the righteousness of his actions.
Like when he saves Valentine de Villefort.
Yes, exactly.
I mean, he could have so easily let her become another casualty.
right.
But something stops him.
It's as if a part of him, the part that remembers Edmond Dantès,
Right?
still clings to compassion.
Yeah, that act of mercy is kind of a turning point.
It is.
I mean, it suggests that justice and revenge aren't always the same thing,
Right.
and that true redemption might actually lie in forgiveness.
Mm-hmm.
But how can he forgive those who caused him so much suffering?
Right.
And is forgiveness even possible without, reconciliation or an apology?
That's the challenge Dumas presents us with, right?
Yeah.
There are no easy answers.
Right.
The Count's journey shows that forgiveness is a process. It's a struggle to let go of anger and resentment,
Right.
to find a way to move forward without being defined by the past.
Speaking of forgiveness, we can't forget Caderousse
Oh, yes.
and the symbolism of the red silk purse and the diamond.
All right.
So the purse represents Caderousse's guilt for his part in Dante's downfall, right?
Exactly.
Right.
And the diamond offered in exchange for the purse represents a chance at redemption.
Oh, wow.
Even while seeking vengeance, the Count seems to offer this glimmer of hope,
Yeah.
a way for his betrayers to confront their actions and perhaps find a measure of peace.
Yeah, that's a really subtle but powerful element in the story.
It is.
It really raises questions about the true nature of the Count's motivations.
Right.
Is he solely driven by punishment? Or is there a part of him that seeks to awaken a sense of remorse in those who wronged him?
It's a complex issue with no easy answers.
Right.
And it's this complexity, this nuanced exploration of human nature that makes the Count of Monte Cristo such an enduring masterpiece.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really is fascinating how he kind of navigates this complex web of revenge and potential redemption. Like, we see him shift between, ruthlessness and compassion.
Yeah.
Almost like he's battling with two versions of himself.
And that duality is so brilliantly portrayed through his interactions with other people.
Okay.
He can be incredibly cruel to those that he deems deserving,
Yeah.
but then surprisingly kind and generous to those who show genuine goodness.
Yeah, and it's not just, in his actions, right?
Right.
Like, Dumas uses the settings, too, to mirror this kind of internal conflict.
Oh, absolutely.
Like the stark contrast between the bleakness of Chateau d'If and the extravagant world that the Count creates for himself.
Yes, very deliberate.
Yeah, it's like
Very
the
deliberate.
chateau represents everything that Dante's lost. And
Yeah.
freedom, love, hope.
Right.
It's a place of isolation and despair.
It is.
On the other hand, Monte Cristo's world, with its lavish parties and opulent surroundings,
Yeah.
embodies his newfound power and control.
I think.
But there's this sense that even with all this wealth and influence, true happiness kind of eludes him.
Yes.
He can orchestrate the downfall of his enemies,
Right.
amass a fortune, even reshape his appearance,
Yeah.
but he can't seem to escape the shadow of his past.
Well, that's because true happiness isn't something that you can just buy or manipulate.
Right.
It has to come from within,
Yeah.
from a sense of inner peace and fulfillment that he really struggles to find.
Yeah, and it's almost like that realization, seeing the pain he's caused,
Right.
the innocent lives caught in the crossfire,
Yes.
that kind of leads him to question the path he's chosen.
This is where the theme of forgiveness becomes so central to the story.
Okay.
And it's not about condoning the actions of his betrayers. It's
Okay.
about releasing himself from the grip of hatred,
Yeah.
breaking free from this cycle of vengeance that threatens to consume him.
But can someone truly forgive such profound betrayals?
Right.
And if so, what does that forgiveness even look like?
Yeah.
Does it require reconciliation?
Right.
Or is it possible to forgive even without an apology or a change of heart from the offender?
These are really difficult questions, and Dumas doesn't offer any easy answers.
Right.
You know, the Count's journey suggests that forgiveness is this long and arduous process.
Yeah.
It requires deep introspection and a willingness to confront our own demons.
It's about letting go of the need for retribution.
Yeah.
Acknowledging the harm that's been done.
Right.
And finding a way to rebuild our lives without being defined by the past.
Exactly, and that's such a powerful message.
Yeah, it is.
One that really resonates even centuries after the book was written.
Yeah, and what makes it even more compelling is that it's not, this linear path.
Right.
He grapples with his desire for revenge,
Yeah.
even as he's experiencing these moments of compassion and empathy.
Like his relationship with Haiti.
Oh,
She's a reminder of the innocent lives that are often destroyed in the pursuit of power.
Right, so she kind of represents both innocence and vengeance, mirroring the Count's own internal conflict.
Mm-hmm.
And their connection,
Mm-hmm.
highlights his capacity for love and compassion.
Right.
Even after all he's endured.
Yeah, and then there's that scene with Luigi Vampa,
Oh, yeah.
the bandit leader.
Yeah.
The Count hand reveals his true identity to Vampa,
Right.
a man he had previously saved from imprisonment.
Right.
I mean, it's a daring move.
It is.
But it shows us that even in his quest for vengeance, he still values loyalty, and he keeps his word.
It really speaks to his complex nature.
It does.
He's this master manipulator, right?
Yeah.
Orchestrating events for the shadows.
Right.
Yet he's also capable of genuine acts of kindness and generosity.
Right. He's constantly defying our expectations,
He really is.
making us question whether he's a hero, a villain, or something in between.
So in the end, is the Sandhound redeemed?
Right.
Does he find that elusive peace he's been searching for?
Well, Dumas leaves that open to interpretation. His final act of generosity, ensuring the happiness of those he cares for,
Right.
could be seen as a sign of redemption.
Yeah.
Others might view it as an attempt to atone for his sins, but not a complete absolution.
It's a powerful ending.
It is.
One that really prompts us to reflect on our own understanding of justice, forgiveness, and the complexities of human nature.
Exactly. What does the Count of Monte Cristo reveal about our own capacity for both good and evil?
Right. And how do we navigate the challenges that life throws our way?
Mm-hmm.
Do we succumb to bitterness and despair?
Right.
Or do we find a way to rise above the darkness?
Yeah.
To choose hope and forgiveness even when it's difficult?
These are the questions that linger long after we finish the story.
The Count of Monte Cristo is so much more than just an adventure tale.
It is.
It's a timeless exploration of the human spirit. A reminder that even in the face of immense suffering,
Right.
we have the power to choose our own path.
And it's a story that stays with you.
Yeah, it does.
Prompting you to reevaluate your own values and beliefs.
Yeah.
And perhaps even find a glimmer of hope in the most unexpected places.
So to our listeners, we leave you with this.
Yes.
As you reflect on the Count's journey, consider the Chateau d'Ifs in your own life.
Right.
Where have you encountered betrayal and injustice, or the crushing weight of circumstances?
Mm-hmm.
And more importantly, how have you navigated those challenges?
Right.
Have you allowed them to define you? Or have you found a way to emerge stronger,
Yes.
more resilient, and perhaps even more forgiving?
The Count of Monte Cristo's tale reminds us that even in the darkest of times,
Yeah.
we always have a choice.
Right.
And it's in those choices, in our capacity for both darkness and light, that we discover who we truly are.
Well, until our next deep dive,
Yes.
keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep searching for the extraordinary within the ordinary.